We are talking to Executive Director of the OpenDoor, Julie LaFontaine. She is our masked guest today. Thank you for being with us, Julie.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, isn't it amazing that you were our first guest ever on, well, actually, that was Skype back then, about a month ago. And we were just trying to get the whole thing down, trying to understand what stay-at-home hybrid was. You guys were trying to figure out how to run this operation. We were trying to figure out how to do interviews. So, so tell us how much has changed since then.
Well, first of all, we're all trying to learn to smile with our eyes. So how am I doing? Yeah.
Great. Those are great smiles.
It's funny how important the bottom half of our faces are to convey our mood, right? So thank you for bearing with me. I am following the ordinance here in Gloucester to have a mask on in a place, a business that is open. And the OpenDoor is open. We have been continuing to provide curbside service to roughly 1,100 households a week on average. Since we first started doing this, we've actually provided over 6,000 distributions, either from curbside from one of our pantries or through a delivery. And in addition to that, just under 5,000 meals have been prepared, produced, prepared, packaged, and distributed out to the community from our kitchen. So we've been busy.
I would say, and you've had to restructure just the creating the meals, right? Do you want to talk about that? What went into doing that?
Sure. So, in the business world, we often talk about, are we able to pivot? And pivot we did. We really had to take a look at our distribution models, both through the food pantry as well as production from our kitchen, to be sure that we were getting food out as quickly, as efficiently, and as safely as possible. And so what that looks like is, and maybe we could actually take a little walk around so that you could see what's happening in the kitchen right now. The team is preparing meals that will be packaged up, and then they'll go out with delivery drivers this afternoon between 3 and 5 p.m. So in addition to someone who wanted to just come to the food pantry and say, I need some meals, or call and say, I need some meals delivered, we're also working with a number of agencies, which include the single room occupancy units on Middle Street owned by the YMCA, Wellsprings family housing and single room occupancy units, housing authorities in Rockport and in Essex, and also the Ipswich Council on Aging, just to be sure that we're getting, as much food pushed out into the community as possible. So,
and how about the donations in terms of, food for good and also monetary donations? I know you've had some important drives. One was a very creative one. Do you want to talk about how the supply chain is going and how you guys feel you're managing this?
Sure. So, you can make the best plans ever, and until they're tested, you do not know if they work. The one thing that doesn't get written in a planning document but really comes into play in a time like this is community, and community has really turned up. Unfortunately, we can't take individual or community collections of food during this time. At first it seemed like, oh, this is great, we'll have lots of community food drives and that will help us. And we quickly realized kind of, the fault in our plan, which was we didn't want to have lots of things coming from lots of places in the community into one central location and then being redistributed back out. So we've stuck to our plan with wholesale purchase and also getting food from the Greater Boston Food Bank. I will tell you, though, that the supply chain for the state, for the country, for the world is showing some strain. And, there are a variety of reasons that impact that. So it's something that we monitor daily. So in terms of, trying to meet the need, one of the things we did was we created a virtual food drive so that people can go and make a financial donation there that allows us to wholesale purchase the milk and the eggs and the produce that we need. to go along with the food that we get from the Greater Boston Food Bank. And then and within that virtual food drive, there have been some really cool projects that have happened. There was a group of local photographers that did a porch trait project. It's a little tough to say. Yes, with or without a mask, it's tough to say. But many people have probably seen on social media out and about pictures of people socially distanced on their porch. Sometimes a generation of families will be there with grandma tucked safely behind the screen door and the grandkids on the front porch. Just a way to kind of commemorate this time. I think that, this is something that will be written about in history. We're writing history right now. These are the things that we did. I read somewhere that crisis does not define us, but it reveals us. And I think that that is revealed in the acts of kindness and the great way the community has come forward.
I'd like to spend just a second back on that Greater Boston. Really, I think this might be helpful for people to know where they're sourcing these enormous quantities of food that you are dependent on. Can I talk about that part of the supply chain? Because I think it's vulnerable right now, right?
Well, I think all food chain is vulnerable right now, just because there's been such an impact and there's such a strain. The demand is large right now. And so the OpenDoor is a member agency of the Greater Boston Food Bank. And through them, we are able to source large case lots of things like tuna fish and peanut butter. They can get a much better price for peanut butter than we can because they're negotiating for pallets full of peanut butter, where we might be negotiating for cases of peanut butter. And so with their buying power, they're able to get a better price on everything. Some of that comes to us for free. Some of it comes with a little carrying cost. But we were really excited to learn a couple weeks ago that the food bank is dropping the carrying cost on the shared maintenance fee that they usually charge on a certain kind of food that they give us. So that will be a small savings for us, and it will allow us to redirect those funds to the wholesale purchase of milk, eggs, and produce. And those are kind of some of our biggest items right there.
Right.
Julie, how is staff morale, and how is your stamina holding up throughout all of this?
Well, thank you. That's a great question. I of course, think that I work with the best people in the entire world. But one of the ways that we've been able to manage this is right out of the gate, we divided into two teams. We have the orange team and we have the green team. So there's a lot of team spirit and rivalry going on between the two teams. But what that looks like actually is one team will be in Gloucester for a week, handling all the distribution and the meal production that goes on and the food coming into the building. While the other team is in Ipswich or working remotely. And then at the end of each week, we flip over so we alternate. And what that does is it builds a little chance to recharge. It also reduces the opportunity for cross contact between team members. We've been doing a lot of social distancing within the building. Our production lines will only have one person. You actually can see maybe some behind me, people working to fill up the bags that are getting distributed, really spreading people out so that they're working in a way that is as safe as possible.
Julie, I know you work with an amazing team, but we've been hearing from many municipal leaders about how incredible you are. And we know that the OpenDoor is working with the city in a bunch of interesting ways. You mentioned YMCA and Health Bank. I want to talk about your work with the Board of Health and the mayor and all these groups.
Sure, yeah. So, Jen Perry, who's our director of operations, and I have been on the twice weekly calls with the city, the COVID response team, along with Action and Senior Care, and some of the other nonprofits that are helping on the front lines during during this epidemic. And basically, it makes it easy to respond and say, yes, we can try that, because, we have such a great team here at the Open Door, and we all work together. We like to start with saying, how can we do this? Not that we can't do it. And so there's been a lot of creativity, a lot of pivoting, a lot of making plan B's and C's and D's, and making sure that we move quickly between them if something's not working. And so, it has been an honor to be part of this community's response. It comes right from the top with our mayor, all the way down through all of the departments and organizations and people who care so much about the city and Cape Ann.
And if people are looking for your resources, or if people would like to contribute somehow, how can they reach you?
Well, we're pretty easy to reach. So if you go to foodpantry.org, you'll see a big picture that says the Open Door is open, donate now. And if you click that button, it's not too late to join the virtual food drive. We have our COVID response, but quickly on the heels of that will be the COVID recovery. We know that the road to economic recovery from a blow like this to our economy will just take some time. So if you can make a financial contribution, we'll be a good steward with your donation and make sure that it connects people to good food every step of the way. If you are interested in helping otherwise, you can email helper@foodpantry.org. And what we're doing right now is we're continuing to take a list of people willing to volunteer, especially in the delivery driver pool. We think that we are going to see heavier demand for delivery in the weeks to come, as we get to the peak of what's going on and come down the other side. So if you get your name on the list, it doesn't mean we're going to call you immediately, but we know that you're there. We know that we can call on you, and that means a lot.
And I probably phrased it wrong, but what if there are individuals, families who are looking for some help, assistance right now?
So just as simply, you can call our number, which is 978-283-6776, and someone will answer the phone. And if they don't, you can leave a message, and someone will get back to you ASAP. Or if you would like to, you can also email gethelp@foodpantry.org, and that will get you right in line to either have meals or groceries delivered to your home.
Great. Now, can you give us a little tour before you leave?
Sure, yes, I can. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but you'll have to let me know. We have Lori Lufkin here. She's working in the kitchen.
We want lemon squares.
We've already done them. Maybe again.
And can we see the meals that are in your cart?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Can you see that?
I do.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
they're
Pasta,
beautiful.
meatballs, kale Caesar.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Is this green team?
Yes.
This is green team. Can you tell?
I can. Go green team.
I go, yeah. I can't
Yeah. We're all green. Actually, here, socially
No, we
distanced.
can't.
There we go. This is what the packing lines look like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So one person would work on this line
Mhm.
and pack up the bags. And then they go into these bins over here. You can see them there.
So each bag gets delivered to a household. Is that right?
So the way that it works is this is the bag A line.
Uh-huh.
And over here is the bag B line. Everyone gets a bag A and a bag B.
Nice.
See what that looks like.
Very
Go take a quick look in the kitchen. They
lovely.
just got all those meals packed up. There's Ken. Ken, say hi. There we go.
Hi, Ken.
Sarah. And then let's take a quick look in the back here where the produce is getting packed up. You can see we have lots of diapers.
Oh, that's great. The best.
And over here, we're packing up the bags that are going out for delivery.
29 all set.
So there are 29 grocery deliveries for today so far. And do you want to hold up that white gold? The toilet paper?
Wait.
There you go,
There it is,
toilet
there it
paper.
is. Get her.
Yay.
That's great.
And then we have a team working back here. This is Laurel, she's on the produce line, Go Green Team.
Hi, Laurel. Go Green Team.
And Bill Stevens.
I know Bill Stevens. Hey, Bill.
Hi,
See you.
how are you?
Good.
How you doing, Bill?
We're
Yeah.
just on a little tour.
Heather Atwood.
There you go.
And then this is the produce that's getting packed up.
Oh, this is always my favorite part. Looks so good.
And you can see we're looking out at the high school out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll just take a quick walk up to the front so you can see what it looks like getting out to the car.
Sure.
Are they loading up right now or pretty soon?
So it's like a drive-through.
Oh, okay.
People pull up, they
Yeah.
pop their trunk and or open their back seat, and we just put the groceries in and away they go. Okay, say hi.
Is that Katrina?
That was Katrina. Say hi,
Yeah, I
everyone.
knew it. I knew it.
Studio 1623.
Hey,
And
Everybody.
then
amazing work, everyone.
all
Yeah.
these carts right here are lined up to go out.
Great.
Yeah, just a handful. Well, really just 3 or 4.
And then this is what it looks like. Can you see?
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Great. See all those packed meals.
So when it's raining, this is the configuration we use.
Do you use that tent, Julie?
What's that?
The tent is for a rainy day for people to sort of stand there and hold. Keep it.
So it is for a light rainy day. The unfortunately, the wind and the rain has been really high today, so everything's inside
Mm.
going out. So
Well, phenomenal work, Julie.
It's
I mean, seriously, hats off to everybody over there on Emerson Ave and beyond, and in Ipswich as well.
we're so lucky to have you guys.
this happened over in Ipswich as well. So
Yeah.
Really. It's,
okay,
well, thank you for the
complete tour. Whoops. Okay, we're back to where we started.
Right. Thank you so much to everybody at the Open Door for all you're doing. And we'll catch up again, and hopefully we have maybe some resolutions and a new chapter.
Yes, well, better days ahead. And we're full of some hope,
Yes.
seeing the way the community cares.
Well, you guys give us hope, all of us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, Julie.